everyone. Welcome back to Regenerating Degenerations. My name's Tori with my host Max here. We are here tonight to go over episode 5 in our podcast here. It's kind of neat. 5 episodes deep, you know. We're marching right along.
You're fucking killing it, bud.
Did a little recap last week already. Like,
we're so good at this.
Try my best. The name of tonight's episode that I have going on for us, I called it Proud of What? Which I feel like is very on point with the points that I want to make tonight. I don't think that pride is necessarily the worst thing in the world. I think it's the worst thing to have too much of. Mm-hmm. But it's also like you need to be proud of the right things in your life.
Right.
And you need to be using it in the right ways, or else your life's going to become stagnant in a way.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, it's 2 definitions of pride. There's being proud of something, like you said, that is worth a damn. Like, mm-hmm. That's great. You're doing something. Yeah. And then there's pride in the negative way of just like, you're too proud to admit you're wrong.
Not too proud to beg, right?
No. Yeah. No, let's be real about it. Like, it's okay to ask for help.
Absolutely. Well, and that's a huge point. My first bullet point I got on here for us tonight is, what in your life gives you pride? But the key question you need to think about after that is what makes you think, or what makes that thing something that it's actually eligible of your pride? Like, what makes it something to be proud of? A lot of people, I feel, are just proud of like where they're at and things of that nature. And like, I'm not gonna lie. For me, for instance, it was like when I first got clean, everyone was proud of me for I was clean forever. And then my uncle looked at me one day and was like, and he literally goes, "That's not a standard to life, and Tori's already overcame that to life, so it's nothing that's like we need to keep holding him to the feet in the fire on."
Oh my God,
like, dude. I don't want to be proud of just being a normal person. I want to be proud of my accomplishment as like trying to exceed what a normal person's viewpoint is.
Right.
You know?
Like with my family, they always tell me how proud they are of me. And it's just like, and I love it, I do, but I do get sick of hearing, because it's nice to have a pat on the back every now and then. Yeah. But like, I guess they're proud of me because they saw what kind of a shit show I was. But like in my head, I'm like, good for you for doing something that you shouldn't have been doing in the first place.
That
like,
everyone else in the world does normal on a regular basis.
Right.
So like, good job of being a normal
congratulations,
human.
you're a person. Like, yeah. Like,
it was cool at the beginning, like you said, but it almost got demeaning as time moves on.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the only reason stuff's demeaning like that is because we're in our own heads as well.
Well, right. Like,
it's a double-edged sword with all of it.
It is. It's not bad to be proud of somebody for like bettering themselves, but like,
they gotta be realistic.
You gotta just like get to a point where it's like, okay, we've been proud of you for that. Now you're just it's like it plateaus. You know what I mean? Where it's
the pride doesn't have to go away just because the excitement's not there.
No, but I feel like I've made like a new standard for myself, where it's just like, okay, you can be proud of me that I went up to this next level. Yeah. Then be proud of me when I get to the next level.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like
I'm still proud of my accomplishments. Right. I'm going to be more proud of myself once I hit this accomplishment.
Right.
I'm going to be happy with where I've gone, but I'm not going to be complacent in my pride. I'm going to not be too prideful to understand that I do have to get to the next spot, and there is a bit of humility that comes in growth every single time. Mm-hmm. You know? And I feel like we all miss that too. Like everyone, it's like we were talking about earlier, first year in, like you feel like, oh, I'm great.
Got this. Yeah, I can fucking change the world.
I can go hang out with all my buddies that are doing this shit. I can go hang out with people and just try to be like one of them, but I'm not going to do the same things they're doing. Mm-hmm. We put ourselves in this sense that I am okay, and it's not right. And it honestly, everything that starts it with is our pride telling us that I'm okay.
Right. And I had a huge setback. I didn't like relapse or anything like that, but like once I hit a year is when, like, for some reason in my head, I was just like, you don't need to go to AA as much anymore. Mm-hmm. You got this. And then, like, not going and finding myself becoming resentful towards a bunch of shit, like, getting back into that old addictive way of thinking, and it's just like, yeah, I'm not good. And then I got my year and a half, And like I remember I got it and I was just like, this really doesn't mean a whole lot to me. It really doesn't, because it's like I still have so much I need to do. I'm still like, I still get angry about shit that I shouldn't get angry about. Like there's still so much work to do.
Absolutely.
You know, so it doesn't ever stop.
Right. Well, and the pride will get in your way with that too. Like when you're sitting there and you're just looking at it, like you said, like you thought you were good, you thought you didn't need it as much, so you weren't as adamant about it. You might not have messed up in it, but you started seeing like the unweaving of the path that you just created, the hard work you just threw in, because your pride told you you're in a spot where you can coast, where you don't need to make the next step forward.
You got comfortable.
Yeah, you're sitting there, and then all of a sudden, all this hard work isn't as much hard work anymore because you're used to living that way. But then the whole path that you just
people
created,
piss me off, and then shit happens in life. And
well, maybe I can be mad right now. Maybe I could do this.
And then you start thinking like, I could use a fucking drink. You know what I mean? You start getting those toxic ass thoughts back in.
Absolutely. Well, I think a big point of it too is my next bullet point is that pride can actually help or hurt you, and too much of it always hurts you, no matter what.
Yup.
Like, if you're too proud in yourself, either you're going to become a jackass, you're going to be one of those guys that just thinks that he knows everything, that I'm above something, that I'm above other people in my work environment, that I'm not, you know, I always like relating this to leaders. Mm-hmm. And a true leader isn't someone that's so proud that leads above everyone. A true leader is someone that's humble enough to lead among everyone.
Well, right. It's kind of like the definition between a leader and a boss. You know, how it's like a boss just will sit there and tell you what to do. And a leader will get in the shit with you and help, you know.
Absolutely.
No, what was it? So, I don't remember if I said it on here or who I said it to or where I heard it. But it is, pride is the shadow of ego.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, like, that to me is, like, ego. Everybody has their definition of, like, what ego is. You're kind of up your own ass, like, my shit don't stink.
Yep. And
then pride follows behind that simply because, like, you do fuck up. And then pride is not going to allow you to admit that you fucked up.
Yeah. How many times do you not admit that you're wrong just because you don't want other people to think less of you?
Give them the satisfaction.
Yeah, dude. There's so many things that go into that. And sometimes you don't even realize that you're letting that pride take a hold of you in that way. Mm-hmm. But people don't get it that, like, everyone already knows that every single person on this planet has the ability and does sometimes, most of the time, has a moment where they're a piece of shit.
Well, yeah. Yeah.
But the world's more understanding to it if you're willing to admit to what you've done and to actually, like, show them that you're willing to put the work in and willing to take a step forward. Then be this guy that's like, no, I'm good. No, I don't need that. Well, I've never needed that. I'm fine by myself.
Like you rely too heavily on self.
Yeah.
Like oh man, and that it just irks me sometimes because it's like the negative form of pride is people who fuck up. Don't admit they fuck up. It's somebody else's fault. They don't just fucking take responsibility for it. Like, it's okay to be wrong. Like, it's okay to make a decision and regret that decision.
Absolutely.
Like, you can fix all of this, but people are just so stuck in wanting to be right all the time that it's like, it's okay.
Don't be so stuck on being right that you can't realize you're wrong.
Like,
it's such a fact in our lives. Like, you can't sit here and expect to put the square in the round hole. It doesn't work.
Right.
Like, you got to be able to understand and let someone come over and move your hand and be like, nope, wrong hole, buddy.
Yeah.
Let's move it right here.
Yeah, you can fix all of it, dude. It's just, it's not, like, it's, for whatever reason, it's hard.
Yeah.
Like, and I know that just from personal experience. I didn't want to be wrong. I wanted it to be everybody else's fault. Like, that was my thing, dude. It's like, it's not me, it's the world.
Right.
You know? It turns out it's the opposite. It's not the world, it's me.
Well, there's the concept, too. Like, even if it is the world, what can you do about it?
Nothing.
What can you do about you, though?
Everything. Yeah, you can change. You can change it, dude. Like, what were you saying earlier where... Like, acknowledging this stuff, it's opportunities to learn.
Right.
When you
Every
could
single
maybe
time you
wrong.
make a mistake, you have an opportunity to learn from your mistake, because the only time you learn in your life is when you're uncomfortable. You don't sit here and learn in comfortability. If your life is comfortable every day, then you're not doing anything to progress that. And you know what? It's the natural person's intent to do that, because we all strive for comfortability.
Right.
So it's so easy for us to fall into it because that's what we strive for.
Right.
Even if you didn't hit your goal, you might find a way to be comfortable in your day-to-day life. That doesn't make you right. That actually makes you wrong, brother. Like,
you just
if
get
you didn't-
complacent.
Yeah.
It's that complacency of just like, this feels good. I'm going to stay here. You know?
Well, I was listening to a podcaster this week, and he said we all need to strive to put ourselves in uncomfortable situations.
Right.
And it's so true, because if you don't strive to actually work, and work is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
It's facts.
Change is uncomfortable.
Yeah, and if you don't strive for that, then you can't expect anything back.
Right.
Like, because you're not going to try to change anything. If I'm not striving to be uncomfortable, then I'm just going to live in what I have right in front of me.
Right. It's settling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
all right to be
settling
content,
with
but not
your
complacent.
Right.
You can be content, but don't be complacent.
Yeah, it's you're just settling for the bare minimum. Like, this feels okay, so I'm gonna stay here, even though you know it could be better. But like, better means work. Better means change.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound like fun.
It doesn't ever sound like
that
fun.
doesn't. I
Well,
don't wanna
and
do
you
that.
always hear about it from every single person you meet. Well, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to buy a car. I want to go here. I want to do that.
Right.
And not one of them is stepping out of that comfort zone, and not one of them is actually taking a step to actually do that.
No.
And that's what we need to do if you actually like want a goal in your life and you want that goal to be achievable. Well, if you're not trying to do anything, how is it
Right.
a goal? Like,
Right. It's like somebody
It doesn't make sense.
They vision boarded it and they're just like, manifestation.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to manifest this.
I'm all about manifesting positive attitudes and manifesting like certain vibes.
I'm not going to manifest a Lamborghini.
Yeah, or $1 million on my table.
Right.
Like, but you can't sit there and expect something out of nothing. And you can't sit there and set a goal and not change any. If that goal was already attainable, it wouldn't be a goal.
Right.
And if that goal was something you could do without changing your life up, it wouldn't be a goal either.
Well, the
Because you
saying
don't have to
is,
do anything.
if it was easy, everybody would do it. You know,
Right.
I was just talking to this girl from one of my AAs that, you know, wow, dude, I just blanked out for a second there. Wow, no,
Love it.
Whatever. Moving on. I forgot.
Well, and so the next bullet point we got going on is don't be too proud to ask for help, and don't be too proud to be realistic. We've already hit it a little bit, but I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed because so many people don't realize that they're being too proud.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the fact that you don't realize you're messing up your life till you've gone and fixed your life and you look 3 months back.
Yeah.
And if I would have just not said no to someone that told me I needed to go to treatment, if I would have just not said no to that guy that offered me a job, if I would have just taken a jump of faith and actually understood where I was trying to understand where I was going or something. There's so many things that we let our own self-ambitions or our own self-focus or look at how we view ourselves get in the way of actually like making a positive step in our lives.
Well, right. It's that's what they would shove down your throat in rehab is just like, get out of your own way. Like, you are your own worst enemy.
100%.
The only person that can stop you from doing anything is you.
Yep.
Like, could I rob a bank? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I could. Like, that's a bad example, but like, if I wanted to, I could.
100%.
It's not legal.
Should I?
Should I? No.
No.
But
They don't carry any money anymore.
like,
it's
I
not
could.
worth it.
Like, I could.
Well, and there's a huge thing with that to where people won't even get out of their own way to ask for it. Like and that goes for work. If you're struggling with something, like I'm a salesman, right? There's so many salesmen out there that won't watch other salesmen and what they're doing to be successful, or won't take steps to actually like inch towards success.
Mm-hmm.
There's so many chefs out there that won't take other people's advice to cook better. There's so many this and that or this out there that won't let other people into the door in order to improve their lives. because they're in their own heads. You meet a certain standard in your life, and you're not willing to let anyone tell you that standard's wrong.
Right. Like, I actually have a really good example. So, what was that? Friday, I was behind on homework and math because math is bullshit. It's just a lot, dude. It's just like a bunch of... it's just not okay.
Yeah.
And I had homework due, and I had a quiz that I had to have done by Thursday, and it was Thursday night. Midnight is approaching. I'm not even done with the homework. I've been spending 3-4 hours on this. I do not get it at all. And so finally I'm like having a mental breakdown because, like, how am I going to take a test? I'm supposed to take this test tomorrow. I haven't done the homework. I haven't finished the homework. I haven't even done the damn quiz, which is due at midnight. Here it is, 11:55. And so I just, like, email my professor, and I was just like, I need help. Like, help me. I don't fucking get this. Like, I need help. What am I doing wrong? I took my test today. I'm not saying I did good, but I
reached out finally after struggling for 12 hours.
Right? I got help, and I got my homework done. I got the quiz done, and she was able to push my test back to today for me to be able to take it. Not saying I did great, but I did it. And it was just one of those things where the old me would have just been like, fuck this.
Right.
I'm just not going to do it. You know? So, like, it's okay to ask for help. It's not like, I feel like everybody looks at it as a weakness of just like, it's okay, you need help.
Well, and on a flip side to that too, I feel like most people have an even bigger struggle with that when they're the cause of the thing that they're asking help for. Like, if you're the one that messed up what you're doing, you want to be the one to fix it. You want to be the one to handle it. You want to be the one to do whatever with it. And you don't want anyone else to know that you messed up in big ways or anything like that.
And you put it all on yourself.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so many people won't actually, like, take their mistake, learn from the mistake, and just move forward.
Right.
And the big thing with ownership is me owning up to you doesn't do you shit. Yeah. But it does my mental everything. Right. Because I actually have to hear it, and I actually have to have someone acknowledge the fact that I messed up, and actually acknowledge the fact that they understand what I told them, in order for my conscience to kick in, type of deal for some things, right? Yeah. And owning up to it, even if you're just talking to yourself and owning up out loud, actually owning up to your own mistakes, is probably one of the hardest things to do, but it's probably the most helpful thing that you could ever do to move forward in your life.
Well, absolutely, dude. It was like, I refer a lot back to treatment just because it was like a very eye-opening experience for me as far as like life, spirituality, whatever. But it was when they looked at me and they're just like, hey, did you ever consider that maybe you kind of suck? Yeah. And it was just like, yeah, shit, I guess I kind of do. You know, and then like
I thought about this every day.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, but I just wanted to blame the world. I wanted to, like, I remember getting wasted. And I'd call my mom at like 3 o'clock in the morning. You'd be like, "This is your fucking fault." You know what
this is on you.
Yeah, you made me like this. It's like, no.
Look out your window.
Yeah,
your fault.
This is all your fault. And like, it's nobody's fault but mine. I had a piss poor way of coping with things, and that's all there is to it. I let life kick me into submission. And my only way out of that comfortability for me was to get messed up.
Absolutely.
That's all it was.
Well, that's all it ever comes down to for half the time with most people. Because in reality, how many people do you talk to every single day that drink 4 times a week and have been doing it since they were 19 years old? Right. And they're still getting trashed 2 out of those 4 times a week.
Well, right.
And
dude.
That's just as bad.
What drives me nuts is like the people who could do that shit and like their life is just fine.
Absolutely.
It's like, what the fuck? like, why do you? What?
This isn't fair.
I don't like this. Yeah. Like, what did I do wrong? Oh.
Well, so the last point I have for this first part of it is none of us are above each other, and we just have different things to be proud of. This is something I think everyone needs to understand, because there is things in our lives where we're going to hold pride above other people, and I'm going to think I'm a better person than you because I did certain things, or we're going to think that because I have this accomplishment, I'm a better human being. That's never the case. You can never sit in front of someone and just because you made your standard in an area and you hit that area and they had their standards in different areas and they hit those areas, they have different areas that they're proud of in their life. And they have probably different accomplishments that actually can counter yours. Like, there's never a time in your life where you can overthink that you're over someone, and there's never a time in our lives where it's ever going to be a factor. You being humble and understanding that someone always has something to give you that you don't have is the biggest thing you could probably do for yourself.
Well, and like what I'm kind of getting out of that is just like the comparison that people do between people, you know. If you compare yourself to someone who is like, to you it seems like they're miles ahead of you. It's just like, I love to tell people, like, you are exactly where you need to be.
Yeah.
You know, like, just
Absolutely.
because that person is, like, in recovery, just because that person is doing fine off of, like, 3 months, like, that's just where they are. Like,
well, and how much of fine is a facade for everyone?
Well, it's like,
everyone has struggles. Like, just because I'm doing fine financially and someone else is struggling financially, or just because I have my kids together and someone else has struggles with that, or just because someone else has their dad and my dad died, like, we all have our struggles, and we're all fine in areas, and we're all not fine in areas. So what the fuck is fine?
Well, and that's,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. So, like, okay, let's look at that situation. Someone with 3 months is doing fine. Look at it like math or like any subject in school, right? Some people just get it. Yeah. You know, some people, they just understand what is being taught to them and they're able to take it and they're able to run. Like, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Like, that's all there is to it.
Well, and it's so true too. Some people need to understand that their fine isn't someone else's fine.
Right.
Like, my fine doesn't determine yours. Like, if I'm okay with where I'm at in my own headspace, that doesn't mean that you could be in my headspace and be all right. You know what I mean? It's actually the complete opposite, because my own mental traumas and trumps and everything else that I've gone through my life and anything else that I've like gone on my path, and at the times that I did, it matters too, because if I've gone through something before you did, even if you went through it after me, you were at a different mental space when you went through it than when I was.
But
so none of it might actually correlate with you.
So going back to the whole pride topic, is it's just like, if somebody has something that you want, like, ask them. Like, that's how you choose a sponsor in AA. It's just like, it's not a car, it's not a house, it's none of that shit like that. You're sitting there and it's just like, God, that guy's happy.
But you could.
What's his deal? You know.
Here's
what I mean?
the thing:
like,
you could actually bring that into that stuff too, though, and it's so true. Like, if you have someone in front of you, and like they drive a car you want to drive one day,
right?
It might not be that you get the exact same job as them, but they might tell you that, hey, I bought a cheap car, paid that off, traded it in towards positive equity, did it about 3 times. Then by the time I was like 45, I was finally able to buy a car that I actually wanted.
Right.
And there's so many people in this world that don't understand that if you just do this domino effect or whatever, you can make it somewhere.
Right.
But it never gets told to them. And a lot of these people that have it will never be the ones to tell them.
Right.
And it might take you a little longer to get there, but there is ways for every single part of your life to grow. You just got to pick out which areas you're going to sacrifice the most time and effort into to grow them. Yeah. And if you want them to grow, don't be comfortable in those areas. Right. Don't be happy where you're at.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Is it's just like, you know, I see some people who, you know, we're in our 30s and it's like they still got a bunch of roommates and like there's nothing wrong with that. If like you are happy with that, like then that's fine. Like that's not my idea of like going
where
back
I want to land.
Right. That's not like I feel like that's such a dick thing to like say, but going back to the whole ego thing, right? Like it's
Well, and certain people need to understand that that's not ego. That's different goals.
Right.
Like I'm fine with you landing where you want to land.
Right.
I'm not going to land there because that's not what I want.
Right. But like, you know, and the whole...
Well, people get offended because they're egos and because they're pride.
Right. Like, and you want the company you keep, right? Like, you want like-minded people around you. And so, like, it kind of sucks because there's a lot of really good people that I used to hang out with religiously that just, like, we've just kind of, like, went our separate ways. Because, again, like you said, it's just different goals, man. Like, and it's not that I dislike anybody or don't want to hang out with them. It's simply, like, I got shit going on now.
Yep.
And I got to focus.
If you're doing certain things... And it doesn't even have to do with partying or anything like that.
Right.
It has to do with, like, if you're not waking up early, if you're not working out, if you're not working hard at your job, if you're not trying to keep yourself healthy, if you're only worried about certain things that I am not worried about in my life, and I might like you on a personal level, but it doesn't make sense for me to have you around me all the time.
Right.
Because you're not worried about the same things I'm worried about.
Well, right. Like, I got this guy who I went to high school with that lives right down the road, and, you know, he's always like, hey, come over. And it's always just like them sitting in the garage drinking beer. It's like, I don't care. I don't care to do that.
Right.
Like, I really don't, like, have anything.
I remember when I first started all that too. People would always be like, oh yeah, you don't want to come over and be around the booze and all that. And I'd be like, no, it's like, I'm just not doing that.
Yeah, like that's
so
just
why
not
do
what
I
I'm
need to be around it?
Yeah, I'm just not.
But that's why they also tell you got to switch it up because every single person that you used to hang out with, that's what they do.
Well, no, dude. And it's like, but that's what I'm saying is, it's
and
like,
it hurts you though, bro.
Well, it does, dude. It's
because
like
you don't want to hurt their feelings.
But like, and I was just telling somebody this, like, the point that we're at in our lives is, and I'm speaking just for me personally. It's like I get lonely. Like, straight up, because it is, I don't have the same people that I hung out with religiously, you know, because I'm not going to the bars and I'm not getting wasted, you know, like, I miss that company.
Yep.
But, like, I can't go back to that. You know what I mean? So it's like this weird,
and
it's
a
this
lot
weird
of people, man,
pull of, like, God, I miss that, but, like, also I got shit to do, and, like, fuck. But it's just lonely.
Yep.
Like, the road to success is fucking lonely.
A lot of people don't get it either, man. All those people that you leave in the past, don't get me wrong, your true friends that understood what you were going through get it.
Right.
And they'll stick around you, whatever. Even if you have to distance yourself from them, they'll still be around in some way, shape, or form. Right?
Yeah.
But the thing is most of the other people don't get it. And, like, you would never say one bad word about any of them.
No, not as dude.
And neither would they to you.
No,
but most of them are upset about the choice you made.
Well, and that's one of those things, dude. Is it's like I have found that when I do go to shows and stuff, a lot of times it's fucking awesome, man. Like I have people come up and tell me like, hey, it's awesome what you're doing. Blah 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 blah. I really don't get like a whole lot of backlash. I think people now do understand that like. I'm just kind of on a different path and like, but it's fucking great to see them when I'm out.
Absolutely.
Like the once every 4 months that I actually like venture out into the world that isn't the gym, you know, or like work.
Oh,
like it's so nice to see them, you know, and it like doing that every now and then it helps. But yeah, no, it's one of those things where once you choose to do better, you're also choosing yourself over everybody else. And
how much of yourself did you have to get over before you reached that point?
Like for me to want?
Yeah, like how much of yourself did you have to like push out of the way and say, dude, you're actually not as important as I thought you were?
Like all of it. Like that's the thing, dude, is I keep telling people, you know, I go to AA and they're just like, oh, you know, like I'm struggling. Like you got one up on me, dude. Like I couldn't stop doing this. By myself. I had to be shipped somewhere for 2 months to even get me to acknowledge that like I need help.
And then
like,
second part of that question, was that yourself or was that just shit that you didn't need in your life anyways that you pushed out of the way?
Well, the shit I didn't.
Now you're just a better version of yourself. Since
right.
That's so the pride, bro.
I don't exactly. Yeah. Like there's a big in AA you have to, like my sponsor would say, mercilessly kill your ego every day. you have to understand you're not fucking special.
Yeah.
Like, other people have these same problems. Like, you're not a unicorn.
Well, and you have to understand how you're going to battle. Like, one thing that I got from... we did somewhat of a 12-step program. It was a lot more God-based. I know AA is a higher power-based and stuff, but it's God. Yep. And, but so what we did, which I actually truly believe in, is a proverb a day will keep the devil away, which I am religious. I do believe in God. I do believe in the Bible and all that. And the Proverbs are honestly just really good teachings they have in the Bible that almost help you just stay grounded. It helps you, like, stay humble, but it helps you keep your head on a swivel for kind of what's going on around you. Yeah. And it's little, like, teachings. They're not even, like, stories. It's just, Proverbs.
Right. Like, and then on the flip side of that, I am not religious. Like, do I believe in God, the universe? Yes, 100%. But I am not, like, a Bible person. But every single day I do say the Serenity Prayer. Just because it reminds me. It's just like, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Can I change this? Yes. Can I change it? Yeah. Can I not? No.
Then what am I worried about?
What are you worrying about?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. It's,
Absolutely. We got about our half hour in, bro.
Jeez.
We actually went a little over tonight.
My God.
Well, I would like to end with some quotes. I kind of looked some stuff up. They're actually presidential quotes based around kind of pride. The first is Theodore Roosevelt. It is hard to fail, but it is worse to have never tried to succeed. I feel like that's huge in our pride. Don't let it get in the way of you trying to actually get out there. Harry S. Truman. It's amazing what you can accomplish if you do not care who gets the credit. That's huge, because if you're not worried about anything but making an accomplishment, then that's what you're going to do. If all you're worried about is doing something different, then your accomplishment will never come. So I really do like that one a lot. And then John Adams, if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, and do more, and become more, you're a leader. Which I don't feel like prideful people depict any of those actions or help people get there either. Because most prideful people keep it in and don't actually allow others the insight on their success of whatever they're proud of. That's all I got tonight. You got anything else you want to add, Max?
Nah.
For sure. Well, this has been another episode of Regenerating Degenerations. We've absolutely enjoyed all of you tonight. I hope you guys have a good one.